Okay.
And we're off, Daniel. You can just get started.
Get started, although no one's here yet.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they know what time it is, and we start at 2 o'clock. And if no one shows up by 10 minutes after we finish our introduction, then we'll just call the meeting.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Tate. I'm a housing specialist from the County of San Mateo. Today, we'll be discussing an application, a funding application that we're submitting to the state for funding for the Shores Landing property located in Redwood Shores. So if anyone needs interpretation, we do have that available for you to Cantonese and Spanish. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see an icon. It looks like a globe. And it says interpretation at the bottom. Please select that for Spanish or Cantonese. And if you have any issues, just let me know just by raising your hand or unmuting yourself. The Cantonese interpreter is Wei Quan Tang, and the Spanish interpreter is Anna Cruz.
Should I say in Cantonese?
Yes, please.
OK， 係好榮幸今日咧係能夠幫助大家咧係將呢個英文咧係譯做呢個係廣東話嘅。咁如果你係參加咗嘅話咧，如果你想聽到呢個係廣東話即時傳譯嘅話咧，請你咧喺你個如果係電腦嘅話，喺你個熒幕底部咧係揾到一個係地球嘅圖標，撳一撳佢咧就揀呢個係傳譯咧。其中咧係有一個選項咧，就係呢個係廣東話 Cantonese 嘅。咁你選咗之後咧，就係就可以聽到我係呢個係即時傳譯㗎啦。咁如果你係用緊一個係手機嘅話咧，咁咧就係可能要撳咧係3個逗點嚇，你喺熒幕揾到3個逗點咧，然後撳佢咧，同樣道理咧係揀呢個係 Cantonese 咁就得㗎啦。咁唔該晒大家，好，拜拜 ，thank you。
Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ana Cruz, voy a estar interpretándoles esta tarde para esta reunión del Departamento de Vivienda. Vamos a tener la interpretación y para acceder a la interpretación en español lo que van a hacer es que van a buscar en la parte baja de sus pantallas un símbolo, un icono que parece un mundo, parece es la representación de un mundo. Usted aprieta ahí donde dice interpretación, y van a ver 3 opciones. Van a escoger la opción que dice Spanish o español, de acuerdo como tenga su sistema. Y si usted está en un móvil, en un teléfono celular, va a ver en la parte de abajo que hay 3 puntos. Si usted selecciona esos 3 puntos, va a llevarlo al lugar donde está la interpretación y puede elegir allí también español para su interpretación. Que tengan buenas tardes.
Okay, thank you both. So at the end of this presentation, we are going to have a Q&A portion. And in order to participate, we'd like everyone to use the raise your hand function, or you can also type your questions into the chat. As of now, everyone is muted, but when we get to the Q&A section, we will unmute you as you have a question, or we'll just read off your question from the chat. Next slide. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce everyone who is on this call today or this meeting. We have staff from the County of San Mateo and also Mid-Penn Housing, who is the property manager of this site. We have Rose Cade from San Mateo County. She's a Deputy Director of Housing. Brian Briggs is a HCD supervisor. Again, my name is Danielle Tate. I'm an HCD specialist. And then we have Ronak Moradi, who is an HCD specialist as well. From Mid-Penn, we have Felix Aoyang, who is the VP of Acquisition, and Cynthia Luzad, who is the Acquisitions Analyst. Next slide. Okay, so here's an overview of our agenda for today. So at the beginning, we'll do introductions. I did a portion of that already. The next item will be an overview of the CDBG CV2 funding and application. And at the end, we will have room for public comments, and then we'll adjourn after that. So I'll pass it on to Rose to do an introduction.
Hi, my name is Rose Cade, and I am the Deputy Director for the San Mateo County Department of Housing. And I'd like to echo Danielle's welcome of all of you to this public meeting to discuss the application to the state of California for CDBG CV funding for Shores Landing, a Home Key Hotel. Excuse me. So part of my responsibilities today are to give you a little bit of background and context. In 2020, during the middle of the pandemic, San Mateo County began providing housing to persons experiencing homelessness who are highly vulnerable to the COVID-19 virus through the Room Key program in hotels in San Mateo County. When the state announced the Home Key program, the county made the determination that we were interested in purchasing one or more hotels to provide interim housing in a non-congregate shelter setting, such as what we had been doing in the Room Key program, but that we wanted to be able to do that on a longer term option than the Room Key program would allow us to, and that Home Key would give us that opportunity. And as we began our due diligence process looking at hotels to acquire in San Mateo County, one of those hotels was TownePlace Suites, which was a Marriott Residence hotel in Shores Landing. And each of the units in that hotel had a full kitchen, which made it more ideally situated as a permanent affordable housing. In other words, each of the units really could serve as an apartment with a long-term lease. And so the county made the determination to pursue the acquisition of TownePlace Suites through the Home Key program for permanent affordable housing. All of the Home Key hotel acquisitions are part of a strategy that San Mateo County has adopted to reach functional zero of homelessness. Basically the definition for the functional zero is that every unsheltered homeless person in San Mateo County who chooses assistance can be sheltered in an emergency shelter or in temporary or permanent housing. And so Shores Landing is now a part of that strategy. So how did we get here? In August of 2020, the county applied to the state of California for Home Key funding. The amount of the Home Key funding that we applied for was $18,448,000. And then the county provided a match of those funds using CARES Act funding of $11,602,000. We did receive that funding and were able to acquire that hotel, which at the time was called TownePlace Suites, in December of 2020. In January of 2021, the County Department of Housing issued an RFP in order to select a partner to operate and manage TownePlace Suites on behalf of the county. In February 2021, we selected MidPenn Property Management Corporation as the most responsive response to the RFP process. MidPenn has a depth of experience in providing long-term affordable housing to low and very low income households, including a number of projects that are targeted to seniors, which is the population that the county decided to focus on at Shores Landing. And so we began working with MidPenn in the spring to put together an operations plan and started the rent up of Shores Landing, I believe in May of 2021. And the most recent numbers that we have on occupancy are that there are 77 out of 93 units that are currently occupied at Shores Landing. That includes 59 individuals who have 55 individuals who were referred over from the Room Key program, 13 individuals who were referred over from a county program called Duals, where the applicants are recipients of what's called the Whole Person Care Program. And then there are 9 units that have come from the Coordinated Entry System, which basically is a system that identifies people who are homeless and evaluates their risk factors. And in order to be referred from CES, an individual would need to meet all of the eligibility requirements and then have sort of the higher level acuities make them first on the list for referral. So that's basically, the background of the Shores Landing project. I know that you'll get to hear more about our CDBG application shortly. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us, and I'll be around through the end of the presentation to answer any questions. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Danielle.
Thank you, Rose. I'll hand it off to Felix from MidPenn.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Rose. I'm Felix Aoyang, Vice President of Business Development at MidPenn Housing. It's been an honor for MidPenn Housing to partner with the County of San Mateo and to work with Mental Health Association of San Mateo County on Shores Landing and providing a permanent home for residents who have experienced homelessness and other frailties. We are working on the CDBG application next page, please, Rona, and focusing on, and one more, please, focusing on a couple areas of, still one more, sorry. Certain areas of that would be CDBG eligible so that we can make sure that the property is sustainable in the future. So having this resource available to us now means that we can take care of some capital property needs in these 4 broader categories that will help alleviate our operating costs over the next years, which will help the property become more sustainable. Brian, I'm not sure if you want Cynthia then to go through the details of these 4 categories of costs, or if you're planning to wrap up the presentation at this point.
At this point, I think you should go through the details.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to pass it over to Cynthia, who will walk through some of the changes that, or the proposed scope of work that we are making for the property.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Luzad. I'm with MidPenn Housing, and I am an acquisitions analyst here. So there is a variety of scope that we are addressing in our rehab scope of work. So it's listed on this page and a couple of pages after this. And so I'll just kind of briefly go through some of the work that we plan to do. So the first being some exterior work. So we plan to seal, stripe, and stencil the parking lot and paved driveway, do sidewalk repairs, a variety of ADA improvements, basically to enhance the safety and accessibility of the building to folks with disabilities. So some of those ADA improvements include reducing the cross slope of the parking lot and sidewalk areas, adding detectable warnings to existing curb ramps, adjusting door closures and making sure that door thresholds are accessible, converting one of the common area bathrooms to be ADA accessible, et cetera. So things of that nature, both inside and outside of the building. We also plan to address some of the site drainage and roof drainage. So that means kind of addressing the storm drain and sewer line and doing repairs that way we'll hydrojet the storm drain and sanitary sewer lines, and then we'll replace the roof gutter and downspout roof drainage to make sure that there's no future roof or siding damage in the future. We plan to replace some of the signage that used to have the name of the old hotel. So since the former hotel didn't have, they had room service to handle trash, the building is not equipped with trash collection. And that's typically what we would have in a new construction project. So as part of this scope, we'll convert a contiguous stack of storage closets on each floor of the building into trash rooms and install a trash chute system so that residents can independently throw out their garbage and recycling. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here on this page, but we also plan, we have an existing laundry room at this site, so there's three washers and 4 dryers currently. And with the size of this population, we understand that we would need to add additional washers and dryers to really accommodate the size of this building. So in an effort to increase the quantity and availability of machines, we're gonna convert one of the storage rooms on the higher level floor to a laundry room that could accommodate potentially 3 washers and 3 dryers. Let's see. So we also plan to do an LED retrofit for the entire building. So replacing all lighting with LED lights, replacing the common area carpet. We want to develop an outdoor community space in the parking lot, just given the size of the population. So it would require converting 4 of the 94 parking spaces to like a raised deck outdoor community space where residents could gather and socialize, and just give them an additional community space to enjoy. Next page, please. So then there's also some mechanical and electrical improvements that we'd like to make, just to, both increase the safety and also make sure that the building is sustained for a long period of time going forward. So that includes replacing 2 of the domestic water boilers. There's the building is really equipped with a really large surface parking lot. So we felt that it would be really well suited for a solar photovoltaic carport system. And that would help with operating costs, also help with shading people's cars, and just generally make this building more energy efficient. We will also do a split system condenser and HVAC unit replacement. As like a safety measure, we want to add a building entrance intercom and buzzer system. And then also add additional security cameras to the building to cover the upper floors. And then in terms of, because the building is only equipped with 1 elevator, we want to make sure it's equipped with backup safety features, so such as a power unit and battery safety kit. And then last part of the mechanical and electrical scope is doing backflow testing for the fire sprinklers for fire suppression safety. Next page, please. And then finally, there are just some, as Rose mentioned, the units themselves are well equipped for long-term multifamily housing. But there are some features that we would like to replace and improve. So that includes window coverings, carpet replacement, ADA bathroom upgrades. So converting some of the bathroom showers or bathtubs, to roll-in showers to make them accessible to folks with disabilities who might be in a wheelchair or just need that extra feature in their bathroom. And then generally appliance replacement. So that's the scope of work that, if awarded, we plan to execute. And with that, I will hand it off to Danielle. Thank you.
Hi, Danielle. And so we did miss 2 items on the agenda, so we'll go back to item to CDBG CV2 funding. And I'll say a few things about the State Home Key program, and then Danielle could follow that up with a few words about the funding from the CDBG CV2 funding source. So the State Home Key program was kicked off in July of 2020 when the State Department of Housing and Community Development released a NOFA, and the County of San Mateo responded to that NOFA, and in November of 2020, the Board of Supervisors authorized the Department of Housing to submit an application, of which we were awarded a significant amount of funds, and some of those funds were used to acquire this property. Then fast forward to April of 2021, and the State Housing Community Development Department issued an application for the CDBG CV2 funds as invitation only to all of the awardees under the Home Key grant. So where we are today is holding a community meeting that's required by the application to provide an opportunity for members of the public to express their thoughts and beliefs on the projects that MidPen discussed earlier, as well as the funding source that will pay for them. With that, I'll turn it over to Danielle.
Thank you, Brian. So as Brian mentioned, the HCD released a NOFA in April 2021, and they announced $50 million for the CDBG CV2 round. For this project, we are asking for funds up to $4.75 million. And we're, not guaranteed to receive that entire amount, but, as Cynthia mentioned, the building is in need of some repair. So hopefully, if we do receive some funds, that can go towards all of those projects that she mentioned. Also the application is due August 31st, 2021, and the funding must be spent and all units occupied by the end of the year of 2022, so next year. This item will be presented to the County of San Mateo's board tomorrow, July 20th, and during that meeting, they will also have to sign off on the state resolution. If we were to receive the funds, the state resolution just helps move things forward. And so that is the end of our meeting. It is 2:23, and since we don't have any participants, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
Actually, Danielle, if you would, let's wait until 2:30. So that would be 8 minutes for members of the public to have an opportunity to come on board and ask questions. If we don't see anyone in the chat, or if no one has submitted a question, we'll call the meeting at 2:30 if that's all right.
Okay, sounds good.
We'd also like to say that we're going to post the video recording of this meeting on the Department of Housing website, so anyone who missed it will have an opportunity to take a look at it at their leisure.